The marigold petals scattered across these cobblestones are not a decoration. They are a bright yellow path designed to help spirits find their way back home. Feel the evening air settling over the highlands of Oaxaca. The scent of toasted chilies, sweet bread, and burning copal weaves through the narrow streets, catching the breeze and settling over the courtyards. You can hear the steady rhythm of a drum, blending with the laughter of families gathering around wooden tables. A grandmother, her hands lined with the wisdom of 80 years, carefully places a warm tamale wrapped in a dried corn husk beside a flickering white candle. She gently touches a faded sepia photograph resting on a beautifully decorated altar. The flame dances in the gentle wind, casting soft and glowing shadows on faces that range from young children with wide eyes to weathered elders nodding in quiet reflection. There is a deep, resonant hum of life here that vibrates right through the stone pavements. You might notice almost immediately that grief has been replaced by a vibrant, welcoming joy. This is a place where the line between the past and the present simply dissolves into the night air. The people gathered here are not just remembering history from a distance. They are living it, breathing it, and feeding it. Tonight, we are stepping fully into the profound warmth of Mexico to deeply understand the ancient customs, the sacred foods, and the unbroken bonds that this country holds fiercely in its caring hands. Welcome to Culture Journey. We are traveling deep into the brilliant heart of Mexico, a land defined by a diverse landscape of sweeping deserts, dense jungles, and towering volcanic peaks. But the true, unshakable foundation of this beautiful country is not its dramatic geography. It is the unwavering, passionate dedication of its people to the ancient ways of their ancestors. For the Mexican people, tradition is not a dusty artifact kept behind glass in a museum or brought out only as a performance for curious travelers. It is the rhythmic, beating pulse of everyday life. It is the quiet language of love spoken through a simmering clay pot of complex mole sauce, the deep respect paid to the subtle changing of the agricultural seasons, and the profound comforting belief that those who came before us never truly leave our side. In a rapidly shifting world that constantly rushes toward the new and the modern, Mexico stands proudly as a monumental testament to the enduring power of holding on. The deeply rooted customs here have miraculously survived brutal conquests, sweeping revolutions, and the relentless passage of countless centuries. They matter so deeply because they provide an unbreakable sense of identity, pride, and genuine belonging to anyone who participates in them. Let us walk together through the vibrant, bustling city streets and the quiet, sunlit, rural kitchens to genuinely experience the profound traditions Mexico simply refuses to let go. Imagine stepping carefully into an outdoor rural courtyard in the state of Michoacan, just as the morning sun begins to rise and paint the sky in shades of violet and gold. The dawn air is still crisp and cool against your skin, but you can already feel the comforting, radiant heat coming from a wide clay cooking griddle resting over a crackling wood fire. The very first sound you hear in this peaceful silence is a steady rhythmic grinding. It is the heavy, purposeful scrape of a volcanic stone pestle moving in circles against a rough stone mortar. A woman is deliberately crushing toasted pumpkin seeds, charred red tomatoes, and dark dried chilies. If you look closely at her skilled hands, you will clearly see the quiet, enduring strength of generations working through her fingers. This specific moment is the true foundation of Mexican culture. It always begins right here in the kitchen. For thousands of years, the indigenous people of this fertile land have believed with absolute certainty that they are physically made of corn. Though we stand here in the heart of Western Mexico, this profound belief echoes across the entire region. According to the ancient Mayan creation epic, the Popol Vuh, the celestial gods tried making the first humans from wet mud and carved wood, but those early creations failed. It was only when the creators used golden maize that humanity successfully thrived and multiplied. When you stand here watching a fresh, soft tortilla being shaped perfectly between the wet palms of a cook today, you are not just watching someone prepare a simple morning breakfast. You are witnessing a daily sacred act that has survived the fall of massive empires. What might genuinely surprise you if you stood quietly in this kitchen is the immense labor involved in this single process. The dry corn is not simply ground into powder. It goes through a brilliant ancient scientific process known as nixtamalization, where the dried kernels are soaked overnight in warm alkaline water, usually mixed with natural wood ash or crushed limestone. This essential step unlocks the nutrients hidden inside the grain, making it incredibly nourishing. The complex knowledge of this exact process was passed down carefully from mother to daughter long before any European ships ever managed to cross the ocean. The echoing clapping sound of bare hands shaping the soft dough is truly the oldest continued heartbeat in Mexico. It is a daily tradition that flatly refuses to be replaced by cold machines or modern convenience, because the people inherently know that food made slowly by hand contains the very soul of the maker. As we leave the smoky warmth of the courtyard kitchen and walk slowly down a narrow cobblestone street, notice the vibrant colors spilling out from the busy market stalls ahead. The traditions of Mexico are not just eaten, they are woven directly and deliberately into the physical fabric of daily life. Look closely at the skilled artisan sitting comfortably under the cool shade of a wide canvas awning. She is diligently working on a traditional backstrap loom, a tension device so visually simple yet mathematically complex, tied securely around her waist and anchored tightly to a sturdy oak tree. Did you know this specific weaving technique began many centuries ago in the deep jungles and high mountains? The intricate patterns she creates with her swift fingers are not random geometric designs chosen simply for their passing beauty. They are a complex, ancient visual language. The repeating shapes represent the vast universe, the falling rain, the winding rivers, and the sacred mythological animals of the local region. By wearing these beautifully crafted garments, the local people literally wrap themselves in their own rich history. In a modern era where global clothing is so often cheap, manufactured in bulk, and entirely temporary, the dedicated artisans of Oaxaca and Chiapas firmly continue to dye their cotton threads with crushed local insects to achieve a brilliant crimson red, and they boil native indigo plants for hours to extract deep oceanic blues. They absolutely refuse to let go of this demanding craft, because to lose it would mean silently losing the vital stories of their ancestors, written directly in the thread. Beyond the fragrant markets, this fierce dedication to ancestral tradition extends far out into the vast agricultural fields. Picture the rolling dusty hills of Jalisco, painted in a striking blue and green hue by hundreds of thousands of spiky agave plants. These massive succulents stand like patient sentinels under the blazing afternoon sun. The weathered farmers who walk these endless rows, holding sharp, rounded steel blades attached to long wooden poles, harvest the heavy plants in the exact same manner their fathers and grandfathers did. They listen closely to the earth. They wait patiently for 7 to 10 years for a single plant to fully mature, knowing perfectly well that true quality and deep flavor cannot ever be rushed. When they finally extract the heavy sweet heart of the agave to slowly roast it in underground earthen pits and ferment it naturally into mezcal or tequila, they are engaging in pure alchemy. They are transforming the harsh, dry desert soil into a complex liquid that purposefully brings communities together. This profound patience and deep respect for the slow rhythm of the natural world is a striking contrast to a modern society completely obsessed with instant results. But a vibrant culture is not only found in what its people patiently make with their hands. It is equally found in exactly how they choose to gather. As the golden afternoon slowly turns into a cool, breezy evening, follow the sudden bright sound of a distant silver trumpet. We are now entering the central plaza, the true living room and beating heart of absolutely any Mexican town. The air here instantly feels electric and alive. You will see young children chasing each other happily around the ornate iron bandstand, teenagers laughing and whispering on painted benches, and friendly vendors selling hot roasted corn generously covered in soft cheese, lime juice, and bright red chili powder. And then the music suddenly swells and fills the entire square. A local band dressed in elegant embroidered suits begins to play with absolute passion. The traditional music of Mexico is never meant to be polite background noise. It demands your full physical and emotional attention. The soaring violin strings and piercing brass instruments are designed specifically to crack open the human heart. If you were standing right here in the middle of the crowd, you would actually feel the heavy vibrations of the large acoustic guitar resonating clearly inside your chest. Suddenly, a man standing casually in the crowd tilts his head back and lets out a loud, passionate cry. This is the famous grito, a profoundly moving shout of pure, unfiltered emotion. It can equally express deep joy, heavy sorrow, or an overwhelming fiery pride. The people standing in this plaza understand that safely bottling up human emotions serves absolutely no one. They actively use this loud music to celebrate new births, to openly mourn painful deaths, and to brilliantly elevate a simple Tuesday night into a grand, unforgettable event. The tradition of leaving the house to gather in the crowded plaza to share live music is exactly how these tight communities stay completely bonded to one another. It is a powerful collective refusal to become isolated in the lonely modern world. However, there is one specific tradition that captures the absolute essence of the resilient Mexican spirit far better than any other. It is the wonderfully illuminated way this culture approaches the heavy concept of mortality. In many other parts of the world, human death is treated as a silent, terrifying, and final door. It is a dark topic permanently shrouded in deep fear and quiet mourning. But Mexico boldly looks at the end of physical life through a completely different lens. Imagine walking slowly through the wrought iron gates of a local cemetery on the very first night of November. Instead of dark, scary shadows and solemn silence, you are instantly greeted by an explosion of warm, golden light. Thousands upon thousands of tall wax candles brightly illuminate the narrow dirt paths. The stone graves are entirely covered in massive, fragrant mountains of bright orange marigold flowers. The earthy floral scent of the blossoms mixes perfectly with the sugary smell of pan de muerto, a special sweet bread baked entirely to please the visiting departed spirits. Entire families are sitting comfortably on woven blankets right next to the tombstones of their relatives. They are happily pouring small ceremonial glasses of tequila, playing the favorite joyful songs of the deceased from small radios, and openly sharing touching memories that bring sudden bursts of loud laughter into the cool night air. For this one magnificent night, the heavy, invisible veil separating the living and the dead has been lifted away. This is the famous Day of the Dead. It is a truly beautiful concept, born from a perfect historical blending of ancient indigenous spiritual beliefs and Catholic traditions, introduced much later by the Spanish. The ancient people of this region believed deeply that the human soul goes on a long, difficult journey after death, and once a year, they are graciously permitted to return to the colorful world of the living, just to be comforted, fed, and entertained by their earthly families. To truly understand Mexico, you must deeply understand the profound meaning of this specific night. The people here absolutely refuse to let go of the people they love. They build incredibly elaborate altars inside their private homes, covering them completely in old photographs, colorful sugar skulls, and the exact favorite meals of those who have sadly passed away. They firmly believe that as long as you actively remember someone, as long as you proudly speak their name aloud and warmly welcome them back to the family table, they never truly die. It is a profound, beautifully poetic rebellion against the harsh finality of human death. As the tall wax candles finally burn low in the quiet cemetery, and the bright morning sun begins to slowly rise over the mountains once more, the festive music gradually softens, and the tired but happy families begin to pack up their woven baskets. The bright orange marigold petals will eventually dry and fade, and the bustling central plaza will soon return to its quiet, ordinary morning routine. But the deep emotional connections forged and beautifully renewed in these fleeting moments remain entirely unbroken. What Mexico generously teaches all of us is something fundamentally and beautifully human. Deep down, we are all searching for a lasting sense of continuity in our lives. We all desperately want to know that we truly belong to a grand story much larger than ourselves. By holding fiercely to the memory of their ancestors, to the sacred preparation of their foods, and to the loud, vibrant expressions of their collective joy and grief, the people of Mexico ensure that absolutely no one is ever left behind or forgotten. They quietly remind us that tradition is not a heavy iron chain holding us to the past, but rather a strong, reliable anchor keeping us perfectly steady in the turbulent, unpredictable waters of the present. The past is never dead here. It is sitting warmly at the table, sharing a delicious meal, and waiting patiently for the beautiful music to begin. Thank you for walking peacefully through these ancient cobblestone streets and sharing this profoundly beautiful cultural journey with us today. If this journey resonated with you, leave a like and share it with someone who appreciates the hidden beauty of our world. Subscribe to Culture Journey, and let's keep exploring the deeply human stories that connect us all. Until our next great adventure, keep exploring the world around you and hold on to the beautiful traditions that shape who you are.